Hi, welcome back. So we got another
Grab bag?
Grab bag. Yes, thank you. I don't know what we've got. I'm glad you're.
I'm looking at a bag. It's right at his feet, and I thought to myself, could be a grab bag.
Could be, could be.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's start right off the bat. We have Tracy Nelson. What you know? About
Original
Tracy?
singer with Mother Earth. Great, great, great. And she then went on, and she's currently with the Living Legends of Blues, right?
It's
Uh,
no. It was called the Blues Reunion.
Blues Reunion.
Chicago Blues Reunion. But
Yeah.
they aren't doing anything right now.
Okay. Well, they did
you know,
lose some members.
They did.
So,
Nick Ramonitis
yeah,
and oh, give me the other one.
Barry Goldberg,
Barry Goldberg. Thank you.
right there from the frontal lobe.
Yeah, right again. So there's a couple Tracy Nelsons. I'm gonna give
You went by that one too fast.
really.
These are out of Nashville. Okay, Tracy Nelson was a San Francisco artist. Okay, she lived there, Marin County, and she moved to Nashville, thinking that she should maybe focus on country music. And Mother Earth had a country flavor to it, definitely. So she's been there ever since.
Okay. But she did the Chicago Blues Reunion, so she was in Chicago too. So
I think that was maybe a little bit out of convenience. I don't think
Okay.
of her as Chicago.
and here's
but
one
I'll have to
with
study
when
it.
she was with Mother Earth.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of went deep on her. She's an artist that I do enjoy. So if you enjoy something, you find something, you go, hey, that's something I get into. Well, then let's go ahead and go
Gee,
deep.
you
and-
really did
and-
cover this. Wow.
and get
I'm
deep,
impressed.
deep on her. 'Cause,
Wow.
and she's another one of those artists that it wasn't costing you $25 a record.
No,
You
and still
could-
won't.
You could get them. This one says $2.99 at Everybody's Records. So
Mm-hmm.
these I probably bought 20 years ago, but you probably can still find them not
Oh
terribly
no,
expensive.
these would not be expensive. Not
Okay,
expensive.
I don't know. I
No,
think the
they
Mother Earth ones are a little harder to find.
And now, good point. Good point. Now I'm going to give you credit for that.
Okay.
The first Mother Earth record. In fact, I've saved a copy for you because when we reviewed it originally, said you didn't have that record. And so when I hear that from my brother, I usually say, well, then I'll give you a copy.
Woo!
You know?
Woo!
Oh, that's the way I am.
My wife's gonna be miserable.
Oh my God.
Drums a Go-Go, Sandy Nelson.
There are a slew of Sandy Nelson records. I really don't know what category it's. Let's just put it rock drumming, okay? And
Instrumental, right? We don't
Right,
have any
instrumental.
singing.
No.
No.
And there was, I guess he had a hit somewhere along the line. I couldn't tell you what it was.
See, I'm with you.
It
I don't
isn't
know.
Drums a Go-Go or Wooly
Bully.
Bully. No. But at any rate, there are a lot of those records, and
Floating
those records really are probably never going to be anywhere but in a dollar box or a budget box, because there's no use even putting them in the regular shelves, because there's not very many people are going to be looking for that.
Right, right.
You know.
Right. But it might be interesting to pick one up and listen to, but it's it's not going to be. It's not hot or not. That's not. Okay. How about this artist?
Well, I'm very hot with Ricky Nelson. I kind of from the Ozzy and Harriet shows. This is right when I was in my teenage years, and we were, we'd see first on TV and then run down. And I was collecting him originally on 45s, and I do have more 45s than I do albums, and I have a ridiculous amount of albums, but I have an even larger collection of 45s because they're my original love. And before an LP ever showed up in this world, there were 45s for years, and I had all these Hello, Mary Lou. I remember the EPs where I had 2 cuts per side, and every track on either side was a hit because they were successful. in merchandising.
Well, Ozzy had the TV show.
Yeah, well,
So Rick was.
well, he had a
featured.
fabulous band. He had James Burton, the master of guitar, in the backup band.
Ah, I didn't
And
know
yeah, it was a solid band.
Well, it came across.
Yeah,
I did
it did.
enjoy all those.
You know, his father, Ozzie Nelson,
Nelson, there you go.
was a big band leader.
Right, was a
And
band
he,
leader.
he selected most of the songs that Ricky Nelson would record. And a lot of them came from the big band era, and he adapted them into rock music. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then his sons did the Nelsons. They had a band in the 80s, 90s.
Oh, they're still, I saw, they're currently they're on the cruise ships.
Okay.
For those rock and roll revivals, and they'll do an interview session, and they'll also do their father's repertoire.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have a reputation for being a very sincere, honest, and approachable. We'll put it approachable, which is something that people on cruise ships really appreciate. That you can just walk up to them and, you know,
Can you rub some suntan lotion on my back?
yeah, that type of thing, right?
Maybe not.
Or maybe you could buy me a Coke.
But Coke.
Yeah, I would like to see a celebrity buy me something. You know?
Oh yeah.
And I once had a friend who tried to make me believe that he was in the movie business or whatever, and he was right behind a famous star who, when he got to it was like a cafeteria, got to the cash register and he checks his pockets and he doesn't have anything. And my friend said to me, I said to, like Clark Gable, "Hey, Clark, let me pay for this." I said, You think I believe that? Good.
Okay, our next band is a band called Natural Gas. Now, Natural Gas was such a popular name that there's two bands called Natural Gas. This one, I believe, was the first, I think, but they were the one that was more popular, I also believe, because they were kind of a super group. They had a guy from, I'm going blank now, the English band.
What a hint. The English band.
On Apple.
On Apple.
Badfinger.
Ah.
Yep, Badfinger. So they had Joey Malond. I think that's the one that was in Badfinger, and Peter Wood, Mark Clark. I don't remember all the bands these guys were in, but this was considered a super group, and they only did the one album, which is a giveaway. When you then find another album by Natural Gas somewhere down the line, you go, wow, and there was another record by Natural Gas? Well, there wasn't. This is a different band from Canada named Natural Gas. And I'm sorry, I can't tell you what's on here, if I really dug it or not, but I still have it in my collection. But,
And it's on the Firebird label.
yeah.
Who ever heard of this?
Yeah.
Firebird.
Probably thought it was going to be the other.
That's a group of investors that said, how can we come up with the worst name for a record label?
I don't know,
We don't want
worked for a car.
Rounder Records. We don't want Roulette. We don't want anything
Alligator.
like that. No.
Firebird. I think it's fine. I think it's a fine name.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. So how about this band? Do you know this one?
Well, you're gonna have to correct me, but Talk. I kind of remember this in the psychedelic era, and that this was out of L.A. and that it would have been on the L.A. portion of the psychedelic bands. Definitely wasn't out of San Francisco, and but it was. I think it's on the Nuggets series of records that came out, which was oh man, there must have been 12 volumes of that.
Yeah, they were considered heavier rock, especially for the '60s.
Well, maybe a little bit garage,
garage, very much
Yeah.
garage, and
but that's still that
Hey
psychedelic
Joe,
era.
CC
Yeah.
Rider, Cherry. I mean, they were covering some of the top tunes at the time. Taxman, Come On In.
Well, that's the hits of the 65 to 67 era right there.
Right. But they had a kind of rough sound, garage sound, and I liked it. A lot of people like it, but
Well,
that's-
what record label is this on?
I'm gonna have to dig it all out. Original sound. You know, I think of the 45.
No, you know what that original sound is? That's a reissue.
No, because I had the 45, and I think it was a hand-me-down 45, so it was either
Original sound is
original sound was
is-
it's on
was-
Sunset Boulevard, Hollywood,
Well,
California.
hey, I got it right again. I said it was an LA band. Yeah.
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 Well,
Well,
they came to LA. At
yeah,
least,
it came
like
to LA,
many
yeah.
performers.
But no, it's an LA band.
Okay.
The original sound for those LA bands recorded quite a few that were all in this the Hey Joe and Louie Louie and bands that did a lot of covers and issued them. You know.
Well, this is one that was a winner.
Yeah.
They did have a different sound,
Right.
and it came across, and people did dig it. And I like this picture here. Just the guy. Well, one, it's blurry, but the guy just kind of rocking
all
his
the
guitar.
pictures are blurry. Take a look. It's like somebody had a Kodak Instamatic and said, "Let's take pictures of the band."
Well, anyway, it's a great record, great single. You know, we're gonna do one on 45s here pretty soon, and like Dizzy was saying, a lot of his original records that he first bought were singles. We would buy 45s, and it was a little cheaper way to get the song. You never back then, of course. A lot of times, all there was one hit on a record.
You know,
so
I'm gonna
let me just
go-
have the 45.
I think my original assumption that these were reissued, a reissue label, was because there's so much material that they were just picking up of other people's hits and recording themselves of the different groups.
Right. Well,
You know,
a lot of the bands were doing that.
doing
I mean,
that,
we were
yeah.
thinking of that other band, the Smith,
Yeah.
a band called Smith, and they had a lot of their songs on that album were other people's stuff, just covers, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of other. Look, early Beatles had all kinds of covers.
Sure,
So
sure.
we don't want to just tag them with it.
Right.
But this label, to me,
I don't remember anybody else on original sound, so
we'll have to look that up, and maybe in a future one we'll put a little bit of information about that. But they had and when I go through my 45s, I find that label
a lot.
quite
Okay.
often.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that was the end of that
That's a
grab bag.
good selection. I pat you on the back. That was a good selection. You know, I sometimes when I'm at your house and look at your record collection, I go, "Geez, I don't know if I would have spent any money on this stuff." You know,
There in the heart. Oh, ow.
didn't he get this at a bazaar, church bazaar? Or didn't a neighbor go? I don't know why I invested in these records. Here, you take them.
Shouldn't we all be going deep on Tallulah Bankhead Records? I mean, come on.
Well, I never thought that would be a good idea, but today to kind of make you feel better. Yeah, that might have been a great idea.
More Lulu. All right.
Are you out of here?
I'm out of here, champ.
That's a good idea.